Hello and welcome to Niner Faithful Radio's weekly recap show, Playoff Edition. I'm your host, Jamie. Normally I have my co-host Jason here with me. Unfortunately, he has some stuff to take care of tonight, so he will not be with us tonight. Um, and stuff, but yeah, I am here to talk about any news that popped up this week for wild card playoff weekend for the game tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, but before I get into that, just a few things. If you want to follow us, we're on Twitter at NinerFaithfulR. We're on Facebook and Instagram at NinerFaithful Radio. And we are on Twitch and YouTube at NinerFaithful Radio if you want to watch us over there as well. Definitely keep updated with everything going on and all of that jazz. If you follow any of those, it's a great way to keep up with us and whatnot. So yeah, let's get into it. So, wild card week playing tomorrow afternoon, playing the Seahawks at Levi's at around 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, so about 4:30 Eastern Standard Time if you're in the U.S. And whatnot. So, yeah, big thing with that game that I will talk about in a minute is the weather that is happening. And I actually can get into that a little bit. But first, we're going to go over some injuries before I get into all of the weather stuff. And also, feel free to comment and all of that stuff if you have anything in particular you guys want to talk about. So here, Kyle had a press conference, I believe, yesterday. So here's
Injury
this.
for the game. Jimmy Garoppolo out. Ambry Thomas out. That's all we got. Go ahead. Injury for the game. Jimmy.
You heard that right. Only two people on the injury report. Jimmy Garoppolo out with his ankle, and Ambry Thomas, I believe, is with his ankle as well. Um, Only two injuries that are officially out. Everybody else is full blown good to go. So that is excellent news. Means the 49ers are as healthy as they've been all season long. And I think that's very positive for the team. Everybody else seems good to go and all of that fun jazz and whatnot. Um, so we do have something to talk about. So the weather here, as a Californian, the weather out here has been kind of nuts. We've been getting a ton of rain, which is both a good and a bad thing. It's good because we definitely needed the rain, but it's bad because we're getting it all at once. And with our infrastructure and the way that we're set up, we can handle. I don't think any place would be able to handle it very well. But yeah, we really can't handle it at all. Um, this seems to have affected ticket pricings and people going to the game because I have seen on Twitter today. I've been on Twitter a little bit today that there's not that many tickets sold and there's still a bunch of tickets being sold and they're super cheap right now, which means that there's not a lot of people planning on going. Um, just let you know, there have been floods over here. Where I'm at, we've had floods. Luckily, I've been okay. We've been unaffected so far. But there is floods. It is affecting areas. There's been a lot of physical damage and like actual stuff happening ar- around here. And and whatnot. So I don't think it's just the weather. It's supposed to rain. Yes, tomorrow during the game that is keeping people away. I think there are people who really just can't go. Um, but don't let that deter you. Um, I still think we're gonna win. I still think we're gonna have a great game. I think it's gonna be a classic 49ers Seahawks rivalry game. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think the Niners are gonna come out up on top and go to the divisional round. Um, and whatnot. So, um, yeah, but the weather is a bit of a factor. I do believe that there are going to be some highways that are going to be closed because of some damage that has happened because of the rain. Because it is pretty bad here, guys. I know that has been mentioned, but it is still happening. It is still ongoing. Um, I have been under flood warning, flood watch all week, pretty much. And that is continuing until Sunday morning from the looks of my weather app, but that could continue to Monday. So, don't be too surprised about anything possible like that. Like, if that's why, I believe that is also why. Also, a lot of people have us beating the Seahawks. So, like, there might be saving for later for a different playoff game because playoff game tickets are expensive. So, um, I don't know, guys. It is what it is. I think we will be okay. Don't stress too much about it, but it has been pretty bad. So, luckily, it looks like it's supposed to be light rain. Hopefully, in Santa Clara. Let me look. Because I actually have Santa Clara. So, rain in the morning, all the way to the game, it looks like. Till about, I can only go till about 5 p.m. tomorrow. So that's what it looking like tomorrow, 40%. So around 50% chance of rain around 1 o'clock. So I mean, it's possible. I don't think that it won't be super heavy rain. Hopefully, so we'll just have to see what happens. But it's going to be an interesting game. We'll just kind of have to see what happens, guys. I think we still match up really well. I do think this is going to be a tougher game because regardless, it is Seahawks. It is still a divisional rival. It is still the playoffs. There's a lot more at stake at this game, and whatnot. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a super easy game to deal with. To be honest with you, I still think we'll win, but we'll have to see what this because you know that the Seahawks are planning since they're going to be like one of the first teams that's already played Purdy, that they're going to have some answers for that whole situation popping up and whatnot. Um, I still think we will win though. I still think we'll pull off the win. I think our defense is just too good that they're going to give Seattle's offense some problem. So I guess and whatnot. So there's still. I wouldn't be too worried about anything. Um, we'll see. They've been practicing in the weird weather all week, and they've been fine. So we just gotta hang in there, guys. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be super. It's the playoffs. The playoffs are a different beast. All the teams play very hard in the playoffs, and if it's a divisional rival, it's even more so. So we just gotta hang in there, do our thing. Everything will be okay. And whatnot. So we'll just have to wait and see, guys. My score prediction. Oh man, I think 31-21 49ers. I still think we'll win by a good amount. I just don't think that their defense is going to allow them to score that many points. So, but I still think we can pull it off. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It's just the weather. I've just been sad because I've seen a lot of people complaining about tickets being so cheap and nobody going, but I do think there's a lot of external factors that aren't being considered, um, because the flood and the rain issue over here is still pretty bad. So I don't think it's gonna personally affect the game too much because I think they've been doing a really good job taking care of the field this week and whatnot. So I think it's gonna be okay, and the rain doesn't look to be too bad during the actual game. Um, but we'll just I don't know. It's just gonna. It's the Seahawks. It's always weird when we play the Seahawks. They always some magic mumbo jumbo that happens. So don't be surprised if that happens and whatnot. So it's just gonna be an interesting. Gonna be interesting because I feel like we match up pretty well against them, um, and whatnot. So I do think we are definitely the favorites, and I think that is definitely the case. I think we'll still end up winning. I always get nervous playing teams 3 times, and I probably mentioned that like an episode or two ago. Um, I'm not super thrilled having to play the Seahawks a third time because, like the Rams last year, when we played them a third time, it we lost the important game. That's not the game we want to lose. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. This could be the game that could reignite the rivalry a little bit, bring back some of that fire that was there in like the 2012 to 2013, 14 seasons. Um, back in those days. So, um, Shanahan also has a plan for the weather that I totally forgot to play, but here is this little clip about the weather.
I mean, you got everything in the game plan for it to go anyway. Not just because of weather, but whether you're struggling in any aspect too. So you always got that planned, and we know it's a big possibility. We'll see how it affects both sides, and we'll adjust accordingly. I mean, you got everything in the game.
Yeah, so that's Kyle's little speech on that, which I think makes sense. Like, he's not planning just for the weather, he's just planning if the plays aren't working, if the original game plan that he played out that he thought would work isn't working, he has a backup plan. And I think that was pretty safe to say that he would have one for this one too, um, and whatnot. So it's the playoffs. It's the playoffs, baby. It's gonna be a fun game. I think it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be as crazy as like the 2013 playoff game, but there's some potential. I think it's definitely gonna be entertaining. Um, Regardless, I feel like these teams still, as divisional rivals, still hate each other. So there's always that little element that pushes the players more often in these kind of games. So um, I just think the 49ers are way too talented to lose in the wild card spot um, and whatnot. So, um, but overall, good news this week. There's been nothing else really big or significant that's really happened this week. Team is the healthy it's been pretty much all season, except for Jimmy Garoppolo and Ambry Thomas. Hopefully those guys get healed up soon. We'll see. Jimmy, I think, is still pushing for a late playoff push, but we'll see. He is in the scooter, so I have no idea, to be honest with you guys, if that's even possible, um, or whatnot. Pretty sure he's still using the scooter. I know he was using the scooter, I think, like last week or the week before, um, and whatnot. So we'll just play it out. I do believe we'll win. I think 31-21 is a pretty decent score. Because I do think the Seahawks are going to score. I do think they're going to be fired up too and wanting to play. So, yeah, um, I think it'll be a very entertaining game for sure. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I really have for tonight. Fortunately, didn't have my co-host tonight, but it's all good. So a little bit of a shorter show. Don't want to repeat myself too much. So, unless there's anything else you guys really want to talk about specifically, please feel free to comment if you're watching the live feed right now. Um, if not, I will get ready to wrap it up and have the good rest of your night. And I will be on for the post game show tomorrow with hopefully a 49ers victory and a move into the divisional round of the playoffs. So, all right. Looks like I got no comments or anything. Thank you for the like on the Facebook and for all the views I've gotten tonight. Like I said at the top of the show, if you want to follow us, we're at Niner FIFA Radio on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Niner FIFA R on Twitter. And we are at Niner FIFA Radio on Twitch and YouTube as well if you want to watch the live streams when we live stream these. Also, search for us on any podcast feed. These episodes are uploaded as podcast feeds as well. So if you don't have time to watch the live streams, you can play them later at your own convenience. So yeah, believe that is pretty much it for tonight, guys. Have a great night. Get some rest. Big day tomorrow. And yeah, enjoy the game. And as always, go Niners.